is 32nd. We have seen 31st. ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिं कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनश्वन्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। हरिः सर्वेषु भूतेषु भगवानास्त ईश्वरः इति भूतानि मनसा कामैस्तैः साधु मानयेत्। You have to understand clearly this way. Iti manasa, iti bhutani manasa. One has to have this vision present in the mind ever, always. What is the vision? Harihi, Ishvaraha. So Ishvara is Hari. Generally, the word Hari means Lord Vishnu, who is the Lord of Vaikuntha, etc. That is how we take it. That is how the word is connected to a name and form, Namarupa. But then the names given to Ishvara, many names are given. All these names are given to the nameless reality. Ishvara happens to be a nameless reality, but many names are given. A form is given to Ishvara for the purpose of meditation or for the purpose of worship. We give a form to the Ishvara, who is essentially formless. So the nameless and formless reality is worshipped in a form with multiple names. And that is how you have to understand. The name is not intrinsic to the reality. Like even for you, for example, so they give a name. And so they give a name for the purpose of communication and easy reference. So generally it is always not necessary to give a name. Sometimes a number is also okay. That is what they do in high school. They give a number, 37 they say. So that is your number. And our security, social security number they give, which is as valid. Or if you go to this internet etc. to purchase a flight ticket, either you put your name or you put your number. Either way it is okay. It will recognize. So you can put your number. If you have a number registered with the airlines people, you can put that number and it will pick up all the data. Or you can put your name. So it doesn't matter. So one should not identify with the name. That is what I am trying to say. So you should not identify yourself with a name. People make this mistake all the time. They identify with a name. And then they first identify with the personal name. And then they identify with the family name. Like this identification, it happens all the time. That is samsara. You see, if you care to know, wherever you have an identification, you have bound yourself. The world doesn't bind you. You allow yourself to be bound. Like for example, the world has no hooks. It only has rings. Hooks are all your hooks. So you throw hook. World doesn't throw hook at you. It only has rings. So like this, a name and then family name. So family name means what? You are now identified with a particular concept or an idea. Family name is an idea, nothing more than an idea, and you identify with it. So once you identify yourself with a name, then you get this, by very nature, you tend to identify God with a name. The tendency will be like that. And therefore, people easily forget that the names of God are the names given to a nameless reality, number one. Number two, every name is a significant name. This is a misfortune that happened in Hindu Dharma, namely, the names are different, but the vastu, the reality, is the same. This point is forgotten. For example, you have Vishnu, and Vishnu is the name that goes with a form that corresponds to the reality. And then Shiva. Shiva is another name, may correspond to another form if you wish, but everything refers to the same reality. So the name and form, they are given to the nameless and formless reality. And therefore, the form is significant, namely, the rishis have visualized a form that is meant for contemplation. The reality is formless. And similarly, the name is very significant. Like Harihi. Harihi. Ishvaraha. Harihi. This Hari. If you say Hari means Lord Vishnu, a gentleman staying in Vaikuntha, that means you have made it a fixed name, like Mr. Subbarao is a resident of Toronto, so something like that. It should not be construed that way. Hari is a significant name. Harati iti Harihi. You see your experience as you contemplate on the world, which is what people do all the time. Just go on thinking and contemplating about the things of the world. As you do that, you accumulate stress. You see, they talk of stress, and its ill effects are well understood nowadays. But how the stress is created in the system, in the body-mind, the stress is produced every day, on a daily basis it is produced. The system, it has a mechanism to neutralize the stress. So the system will be neutralizing the stress at its own pace. But we will be creating the stress. Sometimes there is an imbalance, namely the rate at which the stress is neutralized is less than the rate at which you create the stress. So how do you create the stress? So where is it created? It created from liver or heart or lungs. How is it created? It is created from thought. Thought produces stress. Thought. Just a thought produces stress. For example, the thought of the bank account. Suppose you remember your bank account. That is a thought. And immediately it produces stress. Immediately. That is enough. That is how stress is produced. Or you remember your son or daughter studying in the university. Some university they will be doing. They are doing well. They are doing quite well. In the society, there are many children who are not studying properly, who do not have proper family support and all that. Such unfortunate children, many are there. But fortunately, these kids, they have very good family support and all that, and they are doing very well in the university. They are studying well. But because of whatever reason, the reasons of attachment, etc., therefore the moment you remember your ward or child, son or daughter studying in the university, stress is produced. Thought produces stress. This is why the more and more you connect yourself to the world, you become more and more stressed out. So you may ask, so what should you do? Should we go and sleep? Not necessary. It is enough that you sleep during the night time. During the daytime you need not sleep. And So, withdraw the mind from the world, because the moment as much as you contemplate upon the world, you produce that much stress. So why to produce stress? Just to sit and think and produce stress. Unnecessary. Wrong thing to do. That kind of hyperactivity of the mind is a kind of a disease. It is nothing short of a disease. So if you have a pure mind, generally an impure mind is same as a turbulent mind, whereas a pure mind is same as a calm and quiet mind. That is how you have to understand. Therefore, you withdraw the mind from the world. Whatever you need to do in the world, you will do. So you need not think about the world unnecessarily. You have to work in the world. That is enough. You need not think about the world. You need not contemplate about the world. Therefore, you conserve that mental energy. Don't allow it to fritter away in the world. You conserve it, mental energy. And along with it, time is also saved. And use it in contemplating upon Ishvara. So you contemplate upon Ishvara. There are multiple methods of contemplating upon Ishvara. But in principle, you withdraw the mind from the world and contemplate upon Ishvara. Then what happens? All the stress will be eliminated. All the affliction, sorrow of the heart will get neutralized. Like the snow or the ice exposed to the sun's rays will gradually melt away. Similarly, all the accumulated stress here, so it will melt away in that contemplation of Sri Hari. So you have to do that. That's why Ishvara is called Harihi. Harati Dukkham iti Harihi. That is the significant name. Hari is not Mr. Hari, a citizen or the boss of Vaikuntha, the husband of one or two ladies. It is not like that. So Hari is the Ishvara who is all pervasive, and your heart is the Vaikuntha. Your heart is the Buddhi, pure Buddhi is the Vaikuntha. So that is, and the moment you engage the Buddhi, the mind upon Ishvara, you contemplate in whichever way you can do it. Whatever little you know, you are not going to know Ishvara entirely. Ishvara is infinite, so mind cannot grasp the infinite. Whatever mind grasps can only be the finite. And therefore, it is not necessary to grasp the entire glory of Ishvara. It is not possible. So just engage the mind with Ishvara. Contemplate upon Ishvara. And in doing so, the mind becomes pure. All the afflictions of the mind will run away, and the stress melts away. That's why Ishvara is called Harihi, Ishvaraha, Harihi. Significant name. Haraha also the same meaning. Haraha is not a different meaning. So people think that Hari is different and Hara is different. Hari and Hara are one and the same. So that Ishvara, who is the Hari, means the one who eliminates the afflictions of the human heart. So where is he? Where is he? Aste, abides. Tishtati means it is not like the crow is sitting on the top of the house. That not that kind of aste. The crow is sitting on the branch of a tree. How long will it sit? It will sit for a minute or two and then it will go away. It is not like that. Aste means stays put, abides, like the pillar. It remains there forever. The pillar is not going to walk away. So Ishvara, he abides in the heart. Bhagavan aste, Bhagavan Ishvaraha Harihi aste. So, where sarveshu bhuteshu, in all life forms. You see, I tell you, there was a Mahatma in California by name Swami Tattvavidananda. He used to teach a meditation to students. This was written by Christopher Isherwood in one of his books. So the meditation is, you just sit in, we can do it also sometime. You just sit in meditation and look into your heart. Visualize Ishvara, whatever you know about Ishvara, whatever little you know about Ishvara. So the Ishvara, the supreme power, that higher power which is guiding our lives, which is the origin of this entire universe. In whichever way you want to visualize Ishvara, any one of those ways is good enough. So that Ishvara abides in my heart. That is the first step. And you contemplate like that for a while. And then you visualize the birds. So Ishvara abides in the hearts of the birds. Then visualize animals. Ishvara abides in the hearts of all the animals. And then visualize friends, foes, people known to you, not known to you. So all people, the entire humanity, you visualize, and Ishvara abides in every one of their hearts. This is the meditation. So what happens is, the truth, that is the truth. Now the mind, it runs away into the wasteful lands of the worldliness. So you have to bring back the mind and put it onto the truth. So you hook the mind to the truth, and the mind will take some time to familiarize itself with the truth. So, because when you look at people, you do not see Ishvara in them. You look at friends and foes. You divide people. You means not you, generally it is done. People divide humanity, and so they cut up the human being into caste, creed, race, religion, in every possible way. They cut up the human being, and invariably look at people from the standpoint of some divisive idea like caste, creed, etc. That is how they look up. So in India we see the situation very unfortunate. Suppose the Prime Minister, he reshuffles his cabinet. Means earlier cabinet ministers, some 5 or 6 of them are replaced for whatever reason, and so new ministers, cabinet ministers, a dozen of them will walk into the cabinet. They all become cabinet ministers. Now, before the cabinet, the names of the new ministers are announced, there is wild speculation in the press. So which caste group will get which post, how many posts this caste will get, the Patel groups, the Patel community, how many posts they will get, the Yadav community, how many posts they will get, SC, how many, ST, how many, minorities, how many. Like this, they divide before the names are announced. And after the names are announced, in the new dozen ministers, how many are of which caste, which creed, which race, which religion, which region. Like this, it is like they divide the Indian is divided into vertically and horizontally into all possible groups based on caste, creed, race, religion, whatnot. It is a very sickening atmosphere. This is the first page in news, in every newspaper. This is how the news, the politics are played. Entirely based on caste, creed, race, religion. This is how the society is cut up into multiple pieces, and the politics are played like that. I gave an extreme example. Our mind may not be that impure, but still some elements of this division could be still in our minds. So we try to look at people, our people, not our people, swa, para, like that. So you may not do all that. As long as you see people as individuals different from you, you look at yourself as a person different from everything else, so these divisions will continue. When you start looking at Ishvara in your heart, when you practice that, visualize Ishvara in your heart. You have seen enough temples and enough murtis outside and all that. You may continue to do that also, but the fact remains, unless there is Ishvara in your heart, there cannot be Ishvara in a temple. There is Ishvara in temple Only when Ishvara is in your heart. It is not the other way. Suppose a believer and a non-believer go to the temple. The believer sees Ishvara in the temple. The non-believer sees some idol, some form he sees in the temple. Why the difference? They are looking at the same thing. Should they not see the same thing? No. When there is Ishvara in your heart, you see Ishvara in the shrine. If there is no Ishvara in your heart, you won't see Ishvara in the shrine. That is how it works. But people think that there is Ishvara in the shrine and therefore you go and see Ishvara. It's not like that. Therefore, when I visualize Ishvara in my heart, now it becomes easy for me to see Ishvara in every human heart to begin with, and eventually in every living being. This is how you have to train your mind. Iti bhutani manasa. So, you concern yourself with the mind. You don't worry about Ishvara or Atma or Brahma. Don't you worry about all that. You concern yourself with the mind. You remove the distortions and impurities of the mind. And therefore, all sense of division is a distortion. And once you discover that the glory of Ishvara in your heart, then you will see Ishvara in every particle of this universe, or in every living being of this universe. And you will be continuing your daily chores. They will continue. This vision won't come in the way of the daily duties. But you will have the taste of Ishvara in every person or living being that you come across. He says, Prahlada is advising these Asura Balakas, who are very worldly people, those kids. They represent people steeped in worldliness. That is what Asura Balaka represents. They are Balaka, means they don't have discrimination, and they are Asura, means they are given to pursuit of sense pleasures. So, in a sense, the Asura Balakas represent the worldly people. And so he advises the worldly people, you train the mind this way. And if you have to desire on behalf of others. Don't desire on your behalf. You put yourself in the shoes of the other person and see what would the other person like. Kamais tais sadhu manayet. So what would the other person like? Probably the other person would love to have, if it is a child, would love to have some fruit or some sweet dish. So if you happen to have it in your hand, so give it to the other person and try to make the other person happy. And respect the other person. Sadhu manayet. Learn to respect everyone. Don't try to denounce people. He is like this, he is like that. Don't do that mistake. It is all the mind. They may be having some weakness. That is the mind. Like my mind is having its own weaknesses, like that the other person's mind it is. It is all the mind. Play of the mind. Don't create an identified person here and also there. It is all the mind. Therefore we understand. So, in every given situation, what would make the other person happy? So learn to make others happy. Learn to give respect to others. And learn to treat others in a good way. Sadhu. Treat them well. Because they are the image of Ishvara. And Ishvara is abiding in the hearts of every living being. This is how you have to cultivate a vision about the society and about the humanity in general, and then about all living beings of this creation. This is the vision. So Prahlada recommends this vision. Evan nirjita षड्वर्गैः क्रियते भक्तिरीश्वरे वासुदेवे भगवति यया संलभते रतिम. So this is how you cultivate bhakti, devotion in Ishvara. Ishvare bhakti, devotion to Ishvara, evam kriyate. This is how it is cultivated. You have to grow into the devotion. You have to make it happen. It won't happen all by itself. You have to make it happen. So this method, this way of visualizing Ishvara in every heart,